which is your reasonable service. Verse 2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. The Message Bible reads, so here's what I want you to do. God helping you take your everyday, ordinary life, your sleeping, eating, going to work, and walking around life, and place it before God as an offering. Embracing what God does for you is the best thing that you could ever do. Don't become so well adjusted to your culture that you fit into without even thinking. Instead, fix your attention on God. You will be changed from the inside out. Readily recognize what he wants from you and quickly respond to it. Somebody say quickly. Unlike the culture around you, always dragging you down to its level of immaturity, God brings the best out of you. Develops well-formed maturity in you. And what I want to leave for you tonight is I've been transformed, not conformed. And what happens is each day we have a choice, people of God. Each day there's a crossing and it has its fork in the road. Which one do you take? The path that seems more alluring yet crooked, or the path that looks plain and straight? You probably say that the plain and straight may seem simple and may be regular, but how many know somebody being regular in God doesn't seem that bad after all? A lot of times we hear we're going to do it for the culture, we're going to do it for our people, but when are we going to do it for the Lord? And what I want to encourage you with on tonight is that faith, the smallest size of faith, that size of a mustard seed, can allow you to conquer mountains. It can conquer the things in your life. It can conquer the upsets, the struggles, the things that you cannot maintain. Because why? All because I decided to have faith in the one and true living King. How do we get on the right track? When do we start to stop going back but move forward? When is our navigation system stop being put on autopilot but actually listen to the directions that God gave us? Do not conform to the pattern of this world, because broad is the road that leads to destruction, but narrow is the way that leads to salvation. What are you saying? I'm saying that I'm 33, but at 19 I made a conscious decision that I no longer wanted to live a life that was pleasing to the enemy. I understand we may say that in this world that there are not things that are good. Oh, but let me tell you, the devil has a lot to offer, but my Jesus has something greater to offer. I realized at 19 that I did not want to be messed up, jacked up, hooked up with the wrong things in my life, because I realized that I played around much too long. Amanda, at 19, at 19 I seen things, done things, tasted things, touched things that I had no business doing. But one day I found Jesus. And the very thing that happened was I made one choice, and that was to believe that he died just for me. What are you saying? I was presented with an opportunity. I was at a service. I did not know who I was. I did not know where I was going. But I believed that there was more to my life than the very present. I was living in reality, but it was not my reality I was going to stay in. I asked God, if there is something for me, if there is something that you can do, I need you to change me, because if you change me, I need you to keep me. And if you keep me, I know you can bring me to the very place that you need me to go. What are you saying? I'm saying all I need is just one chance. I need one chance to get my life right. One chance to say, yes, Lord, I'll go. If I have to go by myself, send me. I'll do it. I was bold in the world. I'm going to be bold in the church. I was loud in the world. I'm going to be loud in the church. I was with my friends out there. Listen here, I brought my friends to church because I realized that if I believe that God can do it for me, do I have one witness that knows God did it for me? And as long as I keep making it through the door, as long as I get up to pray, as long as I can read a verse or two, then my good days will outweigh my bad days. And I keep pressing, and I keep trusting, and I keep It took one chance. It took one opportunity. It took one choice for me to realize that my faith can really do the job. And so what happened was, as I sat in the pew, and I'm almost done, and I begin to hear the preacher preach, and I begin to hear him say that if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. And I paused, and for some reason it seemed like it got silent in the church. I said, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Well, my first understanding was I wasn't in Christ. Okay, hashtag real talk, straight facts. I really wasn't in Christ. I came through the door. I knew how to sing. I knew how to shout when the music came good. But I realized that I was not in the place that God needed me to be. So I realized if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things have passed away, and behold, all things become new. So you're telling me that everything that I've done could be erased today? That everything I ever said, any act I've ever committed, you would give me a chance to get it right. And so as I sat in my pew, my faith began to rise. My faith began to rise and realize that if I take away the embarrassment of walking up to the front, if I stop looking at my friends on the left and right of me and realize that it was me and Jesus alone that day, I realized that when he extended his hand, for some reason I got up. For some reason, I saw his hand look like it reached all the way to the back of the church, and it called out my name and it grabbed me. And I began to say, yes, Lord, in my heart. And the more I said, yes, Lord, in my heart, the tears began to roll down my eyes. And I said, what is this that I'm feeling? I felt another chance. And when I realized that my chance was here, I said, Lord, I don't have it all together. I'm not going to fake like I do. But all I could hear was beautiful music. As I began to sit down and realize who God was calling me to be. And I began to walk up. And I realized what Paul meant when he had said not to conform to the trends of the world. It would have been easy for Amanda to stay sitting in her seat. It would have been easy for me to look at my friends who were laughing, who did not understand the choice that I was about to make. It could have been easy for me to punk out and say, I'll do it tomorrow. But can I tell you something? Tomorrow is not promised. People are leaving here. Even now, somebody is taking their last breath. But can I encourage you? You have one chance. You have one chance to say, yes, Lord, I'll do it. Yes, Lord, if you take my hand, you got to teach me. You got to direct me. You got to lead me. And so as I began to close out everything that was around me, and I began to hear the beautiful music, I realized that I had to begin this walk down this right path. And as God began to guard me against the evil and the temptation, and I began to seek and ask him to impart wisdom for my journey, to give myself completely over to him and watch him transform my life, where I no longer had to be I was in the world, but I didn't have to be of the world. And all I had to do was truly be satisfied knowing that my sins were now washed away. And we're talking about faith manifested. My faith was manifested when I got up out my seat. My faith was manifested when I said, I really don't care what anybody says, but when I leave here, I need to know where my real home is. Not where it was on Valley Ave, but I need to know where my heavenly home was. And so as I began to close my eyes, and I walked up there with joy in my heart, and I begin to believe in my heart and confess with my mouth that Jesus Christ is and will always be Lord. And I said, Lord, I'm sorry for every mistake that I have made. I'm sorry for every curse word that came out my mouth. I'm sorry for touching things and smoking things that I wasn't supposed to. But now I realize that you opened up a gateway for me to come and be forgiven. So today I tell you that you have made a choice that will change your life forever. Just look at somebody and say, I'm not conformed, but I've been transformed by the renewing of my mind. And Brother Andre said it so well. He said it's a mind thing. So as a living sacrifice, to be transformed